Welcome back to Bookish Dives. We've already taken a few fascinating journeys into some really incredible reads, and today, well, we're embarking on another one.
Yeah, and this one, it promises to shed some light on something really fundamental.
Our relationships.
Exactly. This book, honestly, it was quite an eye-opener for us. It offers some really precise, evidence-based insights.
Into something that feels so personal, right? So unique to each of us.
But it turns out it's surprisingly universal in many ways.
We're talking about attached. Are you anxious, avoidant, or secure? How the Science of Adult Attachment Can Help You Find and Keep Love by Amir Levine and Rachel Heller. And this isn't, just another relationship self-help book. It feels different.
It really is. It's grounded in some pretty profound science about why we act the way we do in love.
So our mission today really is to pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge from this book.
Yeah, help you understand yourself, maybe your partners too, through this lens of adult attachment theory.
Get ready for maybe some serious aha moments.
I think so. Because what we're about to unpack, it really could change how you see your relationships, past, present, and future ones too.
Okay, so let's start with something most people can relate to. Those relationship problems that are just painful, puzzling sometimes.
Right, like maybe you feel miserable, constantly worrying if your partner's still interested.
Or the opposite, you lose interest yourself, like almost immediately when things get close.
Yeah, or feeling totally alone even when you're in a long-term marriage. That happens too.
And the authors, Levine and Heller, they were clinicians, and they initially thought, okay, these issues need deep individual therapy dives for each person.
But then something fascinating emerged from the research, specifically work by Cindy Hazan and Philip Shaver.
Ah, right, the connection to childhood attachment.
Exactly. They found that the ways kids attach to their parents, well, it looks remarkably similar to how adults attach to romantic partners.
That was a huge connection, wasn't it? Bringing child development into adult love lives.
A really profound evidence-based link.
And this is where I think it gets really transformative. This new science, as they call it, it reveals three main sort of hidden scripts for relationships, attachment styles.
Three main styles.
First, you've got secure. These are people who are, comfortable with intimacy. They tend to be warm, loving.
Just kind of naturally good at relationships, you could say.
Yeah.
Then there's anxious.
Right. Anxious types really crave intimacy, but they're often preoccupied, worrying about their partner's love, their commitment.
Yeah, a lot of anxiety there. And finally, the avoidant style.
These individuals often see intimacy as like a threat to their independence.
Exactly. They equate it with losing themselves, maybe. So they try to minimize closeness. They can feel suffocated.
And this whole framework, it isn't just, some nice idea.
Not at all. It's backed by hundreds, literally hundreds of scientific studies all over the world, different cultures.
And really importantly, no style is labeled bad or pathological.
No, it's not about judgment. It's a lens. It helps understand behaviors that might have seemed just weird or misguided before.
Oh.
It gives them a scientific context.
The book uses examples, like Tamra and Greg. That's such a classic anxious avoidant dynamic.
Oh, yeah. Tamra, anxious, gets clingy, worried.
While Greg, the avoidant, just keeps pulling away, sending mixed signals.
And they might genuinely love each other, but it's like they're speaking two completely different languages. They keep triggering each other's deepest fears without meaning to.
It's a pattern you see everywhere once you know what to look for.
Definitely. Now, another really crucial idea in the book. It challenges how we think about independence in relationships.
Ah, yes. The whole you need to be totally self-sufficient idea.
Right. A lot of self-help pushes that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Emotional distance, happiness comes only from within, being needy is bad.
It's such a common message. But Attached argues that this whole codependency myth, as they sort of frame it, it goes against our basic biology.
Totally. The science actually shows that once we attach to someone, we literally become like one physiological unit.
One unit? How so?
Well, our partners regulate our blood pressure, our heart rate, even our hormone levels like cortisol. We're biologically wired to connect and depend on each other that way.
Wow. Okay, so that James Cone MRI study they mentioned.
Yeah, that's a powerful one. Women facing a potential shock, their stress centers in the brain calm down a bit holding a stranger's hand.
But holding their husband's hand.
A dramatic reduction in that stress activity. It's not just comfort, it's biological regulation. Dependency isn't a weakness, it's a biological fact. an evolutionary advantage even.
Which leads to what they call the dependency paradox.
Right. It sounds backward, but the more effectively people can depend on each other.
The more independent and daring they become.
Exactly. Think about Mary Ainsworth's classic strange situation test with babies.
Oh yeah, where the baby explores confidently if mom, the secure base, is right there.
Precisely. If that secure base is reliable, the child feels safe enough to go out and explore the world.
And the same applies to adults.
Absolutely. Adults with a secure base, a partner they know they can count on, they function better at work, they're more creative, more willing to take risks, pursue their dreams.
Because their fundamental need for connection feels safe.
Exactly. When those emotional needs are met, we can turn our energy outwards. But if those needs aren't met,
Then you get that chronic unease.
yeah, and it's not just mental. Brian Baker's research showed it can literally raise your blood pressure. Neglected attachment needs can impact your physical health. These connections are vital.
Okay, so this is clearly powerful stuff. How do you actually figure out your style or someone else's?
Well, the book provides questionnaires based on a standard psychological tool. The ECR experiences in close relationships scale.
Right, measuring anxiety and avoidance levels.
For yourself, it's about being honest with those questions. For figuring out others, it's more about observation, watching their actions, listening to their words over time.
So you move from like, why does he always need space to,
There's something like, okay, this isn't personal. He just gets uncomfortable when things feel too close. It reframes everything. Less personal offense.
so let's break down the signs. What are the key indicators for, say, the avoidant style?
Avoidants often actively negotiate for space. They might complain about feeling suffocated or enmeshed. Closeness can feel like pressure.
And that basic wish for connection might seem missing, or at least buried deep.
Yeah, suppressed. And interestingly, they rarely end up dating other avoidants long term. Maybe there's just not enough glue, you know.
Okay, what about secure folks?
Secures actively want closeness, but they aren't usually thrown by temporary distance or minor slights. They don't panic easily about the relationship.
They communicate directly.
Very much so. They listen well, they express their needs, and they just seem to have this innate understanding that their partner's well-being matters as much as their own. They expect love.
And
Anxious individuals crave that intimacy, often intensely, but they're hyper-vigilant for any sign of threat to the connection.
so they might misinterpret small things.
Often, yeah, a delayed text, a change in tone. It can feel like a huge rejection. And when they get distressed, they might resort to behaviors that seem like drama or acting out because they're struggling to get their need for reassurance met directly.
So it's about the pattern and not just one incident.
Exactly. The whole picture. One fight doesn't define a style, but consistent patterns in approaching intimacy, conflict, communication that tells the story.
Let's dig into living with each style a bit more, the anxious style. The book says they have like a sixth sense for danger.
Yeah, their attachment system is described as hypersensitive. It activates really quickly, even with very subtle cues that might signal distance or disapproval.
Like in that Morph movie study by Chris Fraley.
Exactly. Anxious people literally detected shifts from, say, a neutral face to an angry one sooner than others. They're just wired to pick up on potential threats to the bond faster.
And once that system is activated,
The main goal becomes reestablishing closeness, ASCP. And that leads to what the book calls activating strategies,
which are,
behaviors designed to get the partner's attention and pull them back. This could be like obsessively thinking about the partner, finding it hard to concentrate on anything else.
feeling incomplete without them.
Totally. And the book uses Emily's story, tracking her partner online, to show how these behaviors, which stem from attachment panic, can easily be mistaken for something else, like a personality disorder. But it's the attachment system trying desperately to connect.
And sometimes this involves protest behaviors.
Things like calling or texting excessively, withdrawing suddenly to make a point, keeping score in arguments, maybe acting hostile or even threatening to leave.
Or trying to make the partner jealous.
Yeah. These aren't usually calculated plots. They're more like instinctive, almost primal attempts to regain contact and feel secure again, even if they backfire.
Okay, now the avoidant style.
Yeah.
The lonesome travelers.
Yeah, that's how the book puts it. They often idealize self-sufficiency. Studies even show they actively, though often unconsciously, suppress thoughts related to attachment needs.
Like being slower to recognize words like separation or loss in tests.
Exactly. But they're quicker to recognize words like need or enmeshed, which they tend to associate with other people demanding too much from them. It shows an unconscious effort to keep intimacy at a distance.
And they use deactivating strategies to maintain that distance.
Right. These are mental tactics to reduce closeness, like focusing intently on a partner's small flaws, maybe reminiscing about a phantom ex and idealized past relationship.
To make the current one seem less appealing.
Precisely. Or constantly searching for the one perfect person who conveniently never seems to materialize, disqualifying anyone real.
And the book mentions they might struggle with empathy sometimes.
Yeah, Jeffrey Simpson's research suggested lower empathic accuracy in certain situations. And John Gray's own story in Men Are From Mars kind of highlights that difficulty not really getting why his partner was upset when his own avoidant defenses were up.
Okay, so now for the secure style. The supermates of evolution, as the book playfully calls them.
Yeah. And the research really backs that up. Secures consistently report higher relationship satisfaction, and they even have this buffering effect.
Buffering effect.
They somehow manage to raise their insecure partner's satisfaction levels, too, just by being securely attached to themselves. They act as an anchor.
That's amazing. And it's not necessarily about being super outgoing or charismatic.
No, not at all. Their magic, so to speak, lies in their fundamental expectation that partners will be loving and responsive. It's their default setting.
They're just comfortable with closeness, communicate clearly.
And they don't spend a lot of energy worrying about losing love. Studies show that even subconsciously, themes of love, hugs, closeness are more accessible to them, while danger or loss are less so. They have a basic trust.
And they're good at conflict.
They excel as conflict busters. They forgive relatively easily, don't get overly defensive. They see sex and emotional intimacy as connected, and they genuinely treat their partners well, like royalty, as the book says, because they see their well-being as linked.
They also seem to filter out partners who aren't right for them more easily, like Tanya's dating approach in the book.
Yeah, they have good boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
They don't tend to get stuck in unsatisfying dynamics for too long. And maybe most importantly, they can help insecure partners become more secure over time, just by providing that reliable, secure base. They foster growth.
Okay, but things get tricky when different styles mix, right? Especially anxious and avoidant.
Oh, yeah. That's the classic setup for what the book calls the anxious avoidant trap. Their core needs for intimacy basically collide.
Leading to chronic dissatisfaction.
Exactly. Think about those examples. Janet wanting space for laundry versus Mark wanting time together. It sounds small, but it's about fundamental needs clashing.
Or Paul wanting separate beds on a romantic trip while Susan needs closeness.
Or Kevin not unfriending exes online, triggering Naomi's anxiety. These aren't just quirks, they're attachment dynamics playing out.
And it creates this cycle, right?
A really difficult, vicious cycle. The anxious person feels the distance, so they push for more closeness-activating strategies.
Which makes the avoidant person feel smothered, so they pull back further deactivating strategies.
Which then ramps up the anxious person's anxiety even more. It just feeds itself. The book calls it stable instability.
Stable instability, meaning
The relationship might last, maybe even for years, but it remains fundamentally unfulfilling. There's constant tension just beneath the surface.
and escaping that trap is hard.
Really hard. Because often, the solution requires more intimacy and reassurance, which is exactly what the avoidant person resists unconsciously.
So the anxious partner often ends up making all the compromises.
Frequently, yes. They can lose themselves, start blaming themselves, feel like they're always the problem, their self-esteem takes a hit.
But there's hope, right? The book says styles are stable but plastic.
Yes, that's crucial. Stable means they don't usually change overnight, but plastic means they can change. You're not doomed to repeat patterns forever.
How do you start changing?
The book suggests starting with priming for security. Just consciously thinking about people in your life who are secure, maybe a friend, a family member.
Even a pet.
Yeah. The way we feel about our pets is often a great example of secure attachment in action, unconditional positive regard. The point is, you can actively cultivate a more secure mindset.
And they suggest a relationship inventory.
It's a guided way to look back at your past relationships and your current ones through this attachment lens.
To spot the recurring patterns.
Exactly. To understand your own working model, your deep-seated beliefs about relationships, and to identify what triggers your anxious or avoidant responses. It's about self-awareness.
Recognizing how maybe you contribute to the dynamic without realizing it.
Right. And for breakups, which can be incredibly painful when attachment is involved.
Like physical pain levels in the brain.
Yeah, the research shows similar brain areas light up. The book acknowledges that pain and the confusing rebound effect, where you suddenly only remember the good times.
And it offers strategies to cope.
9 specific strategies, actually. Things like leaning on your support system and even consciously recalling the negative aspects to help deactivate that lingering attachment bond. Practical advice.
Beyond understanding styles, the book really pushes effective communication.
Hugely important. It's presented as a skill that can genuinely transform relationships. It means expressing your needs clearly, directly, but without blaming.
Like Lauren asking the guy about his no-touch rule.
Perfect example. Saved herself months of guessing games and anxiety just by asking directly. Or Tina playfully asking Serge for a kiss. Directness deepened their connection.
It avoids so much misunderstanding.
Totally. Effective communication stops things from festering.
So what are the key principles? The book lists 5.
Okay, first, wear your heart on your sleeve. Be authentic. Be honest about your feelings, even vulnerability.
Second, focus on your needs. Use I statements. I need, I feel, I want.
Third, express feelings, not accusations. Explain your emotional experience, not what your partner did wrong.
Fourth, don't blame. Avoid language that makes your partner feel attacked, selfish, or inadequate.
And fifth, be assertive and non-apologetic about your needs. Wanting closeness or reassurance is valid. Don't let anyone shame you for it.
And these principles apply to conflict, too.
Absolutely. Everyone argues. Even secure couples fight. The difference is how they fight.
Secures fight productively.
Yeah, they tend to use conflict as a way to understand each other better, to get closer, not to wound each other.
Okay, so the 5 secure principles for conflict.
All right, 1. Show basic concern for the other's well-being. Remember, you're on the same team, fundamentally. Your happiness is linked.
2, maintain focus on the problem at hand. Don't dredge up the past or make it about their character flaws.
3, refrain from generalizing. Keep it specific to the current issue. Don't say you always or you never.
4, be willing to engage. Don't just shut down, withdraw, or give the silent treatment. Stay present.
And 5, effectively communicate feelings and needs using those principles we just talked about. Be clear, be direct, be respectful.
Understanding this can help anxious and avoidant people avoid those typical negative spirals, right? The withdrawal, the attacks.
Exactly. It gives everyone a better toolkit for navigating the inevitable disagreements, moving from destructive to constructive.
So, wrapping this up,
Yeah.
what's the big takeaway here for us from Attached?
I think, for me, it's that relationships aren't just luck or magic. There's a science to them.
Yeah, it's not just leaving things to chance. This book takes decades of really solid research and makes it, well, usable, practical wisdom.
Understanding your style and your partner's style, it genuinely gives you a roadmap. It can fundamentally shift things for the better.
It really challenges some common myths, doesn't it? Like the idea that everyone wants or needs the same amount of closeness.
Or that just getting married will magically fix underlying attachment issues. It doesn't work that way.
Instead, you get this scientific lens to understand why things might be going wrong and how to proactively shape your connections.
It's empowering, I think. It validates that feeling that if a relationship consistently makes you feel bad, anxious, or unsure of yourself, that's a real signal. That's a wake-up call.
And you can do something about it.
You can. You have agency.
Well, this has been another really insightful bookish dive. We hope you all found these insights as valuable as we did.
Yeah, it's always fascinating to dig into books like this that offer those aha moments about ourselves and how we connect.
And remember that line the book highlights from Chris McCandless's journal.
Oh, yeah. Happiness only real when shared. It's mentioned in the context of the avoidant style, but it's such a universal truth.
A powerful reminder that deep satisfaction often comes not from total self-sufficiency,
But from finding the right person or people you can truly depend on and sharing the journey, building those secure connections.
Absolutely. For more bookish dives, please do hit that follow button wherever you're listening.
We'll be back soon with another deep dive into a captivating read.
Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep building those secure connections.